Okay, today I'm going to do the harmonic analysis of S Bach chorale harmonization number 8. By the way, I'm getting this from the Schneider book, chorale harmonization, which is called...
Freuet euch, ihr Christen.
Right, got that? That's got a better pronunciation than I do. Anyway, so... Okay. Off the bat, let's get at it. Off the bat, what do I see? A piece is in F minor. This chorale is in F minor. Finishes with an F major with a tierce de piquer D. So F minor, but the key signature there. The key signature says E flat major or C minor. So what's the story? The story is that that's F Dorian. For some reason, he used a key signature to say F Dorian. Now, I don't know why. I know it is used elsewhere, and I'll encounter it. But maybe I'll find out as I analyze this, the reason why he went for such a key signature. As opposed to, 3 flats as opposed to 4, because F minor should have 4 flats. And maybe I'll find out as I analyze it. So, let's get cracking. Let's call 1. Okay, we have immediately a 1 chromatic with the 7th. So that's an F7 in in 3rd inversion. That bass. Oh, wait a second. I usually play the tune first. And then the harmonization. So nice and easy. Right. And then I do the analysis. Oh, let me see if I can make that a little bit, that's a little bit thinner. Okay. So I was saying chord 1 chromatic. That became an F7 chord, an F7 in with 7th in the bass. So in 3rd inversion, which functions as 5, 7, or 4, and in fact it is then going to 4. Now, bit of room there. Okay. So the function is 5, 7 of 4. 5, 7 D of 4. But okay, if I want to be really really meticulous. Okay, the key, should I specify that the key is F minor? Yeah, let me specify that the key is F minor, just to be clear about that key signature, F minor. That's a Dorian key signature. Okay, 1 chromatic, 7 3rd inversion, 5 of 4. Does it behave as a 5 of 4? Yes, it does, because then I have 4. I have 4 here. Yeah, that's a B flat minor. That's a B flat minor, 4. In 1st inversion. Okay. It does create a chord. That note, just changing that note. See? It's not just a lower auxiliary, it creates a chord. And it creates pretty much a diminished 7 chord. A diminished 7 chord without the G. The G is missing. There's no G, the G is missing, but definitely in that 2nd quaver there, what's being created is a diminished 7 chord, which is built on the D flat. Now that E is the leading note, so it functions as a chord 5. So that I want to analyze as a 5 diminished 7. Well, maybe the other way around. There you go. A 5 diminished 7. That's the function, 5 diminished 7. That's the D flat. There's no C. There's a that's the C is the function. Okay, what else? What else do I see? Nothing. That's 5 diminished 7. That's the function. And so I have a 4, 5. I have this is chord 1 in second inversion. It's a 6, 4. Okay. Then what's happening here? That's chord 2. It's a G minor 7 flat 5. That's chord 2. 7. G minor 7 flat 5. That's the 7. That's chord 2, 7. That's nice. That's a decoration of that note. That G is a decoration of that F, because what happens there is this. Let's do the harmonies first. I see what's happening, but let's do the harmonies first. So that's just 2, 7. This is clearly 5. Oh, yes. With a 7 right there. Passing 7. And this is obviously chord 1. Oh, look what happens there. Now, this leading note resolves up. But then the alto drops to the 5th of the chord, so that we can have a full chord. Okay, passing 7, that's the soprano gets this note. Ta-da, ta-da. The soprano gets to the F, anticipating then the resolution of the leading note. The soprano sounds the tonic just before the leading note in the alto resolves. I like this decoration. I like this decoration of the 7. I like that decoration there. What we have is that's what it's decorated as. I like that. Let's move on. So that's the first phrase. And we are in the tonic region. Cadences on the tonic. Let's carry on. Second phrase. Let's see. Blatantly going to the relative major A flat. So just let me point out here, you see, we have a key signature of 3 flats. And look, the D flat is just put in the score. The D flat of the F minor key is just written in the music. So again, question is, why using 3 flats, a Dorian key signature, and then having to use the D flat in the music? Why that? Maybe I'll find out in a minute, I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so the tune. The harmonization. Now, all right, so we have one, so that's the 7. That's the 7 as a passing note, but I'll put it there in the analysis. Okay, this is that's chord 2. That's chord 2B. No, 2C. That's chord 2. Chord 2 in second inversion. And look, it's a passing second inversion. I mean, it's used to go from that note to that note in the bass. That's 3. The relative major. Relative major. That's just a passing note. And that's 3 again. That's 3 again. Okay, that's definitely... Okay, chords is... That's a B flat minor 7. A B flat minor 7, so that's chord 4 in F minor. Okay, 4 in first inversion. 4 in first inversion, which functions as 2 of 3. 2 of A flat. Anyway, that's chord 4, 7, first inversion. That's 7. Okay, 4, 7, 7, 3, which by the way, okay. Now all of that can be taught in the relative major. All of that can be taught in the relative major. See, this is 6. That is the G diminished. The G diminished becomes it's a 7. That's 7 functioning as 5 of the relative major. 1, also 1, that's okay. Then I have 2, 5, 1 of 3. You see, so I could put all of that. I could put all of that in a parenthesis. There. Of 3. Six, 7, second inversion, 1, 2, 5 of 3, which is then the last chord. Yeah. So, you know, we're still in the tonic region. We're still in the tonic region, so that's the tonic region. This is the relative major, so we're still in the tonic region. Okay. Anything else I need to spot? Okay, there's some nice melodic connections. There's some nice melodic connections between these two phrases. Let's see. I spot something. I can hear something. I can see something. So look what happens in the alto. Look what happens in the alto at the cadence point. Here you have which is then echoed here. See? Little similar movements. There's, okay, different direction here. And it's a skip rather than a step. But you see, this, and look, the melody has got the same rhythm compared to so the melody refers back to itself, and then the harmonizations underneath also refer back to themselves. Well, look at the tenor. The tenor. Look at the tenor here. It's almost a sequence. Yeah, it is a sequence. The bass, I mean the bass, look at the bass. And here, so yeah, absolutely. It is a sequence. Okay. Anyway, let's go on. Okay. Next phrase. And by the way, I'm doing this primarily only for myself, and I'm putting it up on the internet, and I invite discussion and suggestions and stuff that I missed. Let me know, because I'm sure I missed a lot of things. Okay, let's carry on. Next phrase. So we got as far as now. Oh, we go back to F minor. Okay, harmonization. Whoa! Oh, what was that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Well, it's an accented passing note in the bass. In the bass, it's it really jumps at my ears. You know, right here. That's what I heard. That's what I've heard. And that's one thing. Keep your ears open. Okay. So we're going to F minor. We're still in F minor. What do we have here? This is that's chord 6. Yeah, it's D flat, just a plain D flat. Then that's the moment. Hear that? Okay, that's 6. Now, again, this is the G diminished, the G diminished triad. That's an accented passing note, which is harsh at that moment. Oh, that's what you're hearing, you see? That minor 9 harsh interval between the C in the bass and D flat in the tenor, which then resolves and all is fine, all is good again. Okay, so this is chord 2 with the B flat in the bass or first inversion. Yes, 6, 2, 6, 2, 5, 7. That's the alto. 5, 7. Okay, 5, 7 wants to go to 1, but that's not what's happening next. Back to 6. See? It's not a cadence, you see? It would be loosely referred to as an interrupted cadence, but you see, that's not the cadence moment. It's an call it what you want, avoided resolution, deceptive resolution, but you see, I would reserve the word cadence in this case, in this context, to the actual cadence moment, whereas there's no moment of punctuation here. The music keeps flowing, right? Of course, there is the harmony points at F minor, and instead we get a D flat major. But we don't get the punctuation moment of a cadence at that point. So I would not use the term cadence. So anyway, 5 to 6. That's the tenor. See, very sneakily. Oh, there we go. Oh, alarm bell. All the sirens going off because we have double the third. We're all gonna die. Double the third. There's 2/3 in this chord, and in fact, Johann Sebastian here goes like, he dodges the bullet, and immediately, immediately changes the note in the tenor from F to A flat. And look at the way it does it. It spells out. But anyway, so look, all the alarms going off because 2/3 in the chord. Okay, next, let's say we're going back to. Okay, again we have chord 2 with a 7. 2 in first inversion, is it? Yeah. Yeah, that's a G minor 7 flat 5. And we're back. That's 5. Let's go 5, 7. Note of anticipation. That's an anticipation. And that's chord 1. And here, that's an inactive leading note, as it often happens. The leading note in the middle of the texture does not go up to the tonic, but rather drops drops here to the fifth of the next chord, to the fifth of the tonic chord. That happens often. Let me check back to what happened initially. That's it. Okay. Right there on in the first cadence. There. Okay, right here, in a very similar kind of a situation, that leading note gets a chance to rise to the tonic. Gets a chance to rise to the tonic, but because there is another note to harmonize, then it drops to the fifth, so that we can have a full chord. So that we can have a full chord inclusive of root, third and fifth. See what happens here instead. You see, we have one fewer note to harmonize. So, but in order to have the full chord, that leading note doesn't behave as we expected normally. You know, going by the rule, and it drops to the fifth. So we can still have a full chord. Pause a second. Okay, next phrase. The tune. There's lots of these repeated notes, so maybe we get a chance of learning what to do in case we have to harmonize a melody and there are repeated notes in the melody. Let's see. Okay, so okay, harmonization, nice and slow, because my reading is terrible. Okay, so there is an option, I see there is an option for a lower bass. Okay, let me see if I can do that. And let's see, that would be that's it. So because that would become, that's the tenor. That's the tenor. Okay, if I have the, in the bass there is a little bit of crossing parts right here. There is a little bit of crossing parts if I adopt the higher bass line. If I adopt the lower bass line, then the tenor is, and it becomes, so it, and then it's okay. Analysis. All right, I need my pen. You might be hearing the dog snoring in the background. There he is. Bear? Bear? No snoring, buddy? Okay. Okay, we have again a chord 1 chromatic, which okay, chord 1 chromatic. This is just a couple of passing notes. Still chord 1 chromatic becomes in first inversion because the bass. So that whole half bar is chord 1, really, with a little bit of movement and interest created by that. So you see, if we have a repeated note in the melody, that's the fifth of the chord, and we want, we want to break the monotony, do something You see, one thing that we can do is we can change the inversion of the chord. It goes from root position to first inversion. Okay. What do I have then? I have, so that one chromatic functions as 5 of 4. 5 of 4, and it then goes to 4. In fact, it goes to 4 again. We have 4 here in 4 in root position, and then if I consider that the bass, if that stays in the bass, if it stays the lowest note, that's 4 in first inversion. That's 4 in first inversion. But if I consider that instead, then the tenor, it becomes the lowest note. Momentarily becomes the lowest note. So in that case, I still have a B flat as the bottom note. So if I adopt this option, the chord is still in root position. Okay, right. So 1 going to 4, going to 7, going to 3. So it's all pointing again. To the relative major, to A flat major, which I'm gonna have here. So this is chord 7, E flat major 7, which goes into first inversion here. Nice. And again, this parallel motion between the voices. I had it between bass and tenor here. Now I have it between the bass and the alto. It was now. So chord 7. Now that points at the relative major. So 7 is 5 of 3. Do you see? 7 is 5 of 3. And this chord 4, this B flat minor, this B flat minor, this B flat minor is 2 of 3, function as 2 of 3. So we have this sequence. It's a harmonic sequence. It's a melodic sequence. It's a harmonic sequence to harmonize a melodic sequence. And it all points to the outcome is the shift of the gravity towards the chord 3, the relative major, A flat major. Okay, harmonization. What's happening here? We're going to the subdominant. Okay. Chord 6. Chord 4. Then, okay, that's a G flat in the tenor. Okay, this is a C minor 7 flat 5. Yeah. So this is 2 of 4. That's the tenor. Da, 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 da. That's the tenor, the G flat here. Da, 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 da. That's a 2, 5, 1 of 4. Now, in relation to the home key, how do I analyze that C minor 7 flat 5? Okay, that would be chord 5. So that is chord 5 minor. I have to use the lowercase, because if I use the uppercase, I indicate a dominant function. That's not a dominant function. So 5, 7 with a flat 5. Now that functions as 2 of 4. 2 of 4. I'm thinking in F minor now. I'm still thinking about the home key. And the function is 2 of 4. Then this is 1 chromatic 7. Now that functioned as 5 of 4. So I have a 2, 5 of 4. And that's 4, obviously. Okay, what comes before that? What comes before that? That's six. That's chord 6. Da-dee-dum. Okay, is that telling me something? Ta-da. And that's obviously 4 chord. Chord 4. 6 going to 4, which is a perfectly valid harmonic motion. Okay, now you should be hearing both the dog snoring and the fans of the graphic card going shh. But that's okay. Okay, next phrase. And we go back to F minor. Okay, let's see the harmonization. Okay. Okay, easy stuff now. This is 5/7 in third inversion, and everything is behaving as we expect it to do. The 7th in the bass is dropping. The 7th in the bass is dropping to become the 3rd of chord 1 next. That is exactly what we expected to do. Everything is proceeding as I have foreseen. Now, so this is chord 1B. 5/7 D to 1B is a super common progression, and alarm bells again going. We have 2/3. We have 2/3 in the chords. Duck and cover. Oh my God! Call the harmony police and all that, because we have double the third, but hey, wait a minute. And the third is in the bass also, and the other third is in the soprano. Two prominent, the really prominent place for those notes to be. But what happens here is the contrary motion. The contrary motion redeems the whole lot. See? The contrary motion makes it, it's necessary. So let it happen. Now, what do I have here? I have chord 2, seven, without the fifth. Without the fifth, there is no D flat. The third is doubled. There is a B flat twice. Okay, so that's definitely 2, 7, without the fifth. 2, 7. Now that note changing. Da, da. That gives me chord 7 diminished. See, I have an E, a G, a B flat. That's chord 7 diminished triad. It's a diminished triad. The G, the B flat, the E, the B flat again. Functioning as 5. Functioning as, so I put the function here, functioning as 5. Functioning as, 5, 7, functioning as 5. And in a passing capacity, because you see the G passes from chord 1 in first inversion to chord 1 in root position, and that's very common for it to happen. Okay, so this is one of those things. This is one of those things that should be taken note, copied, transcribed in a few different keys, and last but not least, sung with your voice. You should sing all the voices. You should sing everything. If it's in your range, you sing it in your range. You use the falsetto. You sing it in an octave that suits your range. But the educational value of doing that is immeasurable. See, so you have 1 in first inversion, 2, 7, becoming 7 diminished, 1 in root position in the bass. Da, 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 in the bass. Ba, ba, ba. In the tenor. Ba, 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 ba. See, I sing it in the lower octave, the alto. Na, 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 na. Do, do, do. In the soprano. Sorry. Do, do, do. See, that should be copied, transcribed in a few keys, sung, sing all the voices. Again, if you can play along, if you're able to do so, it's so useful. Now, okay, what do we have here? Again, here we have chord 2, 7. Choose 7, first inversion. Chord 5, 7. Now, and 1, back to F minor. This is really textbook. The seventh in chord 2 is prepared in the previous chord, in chord 1, as a chord tone. See? So the 7th here is prepared, resolves as a 7th, becomes the leading note, now becomes the leading note, which is an inactive leading note in the middle of the texture. Instead of going up to the tonic, it drops down to the 5th of the chord, to the C in this case. All the while, this passing 7th on the second quiver of that beat takes all the attention, takes all the interest at that moment, while that sneaky inactive leading note doesn't behave as we expect it to do. Cool. Okay. Right. So seems to be going to C minor. Now let me see. I'm gonna have to split this now. Look at that bass. Ba, 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 ba. Ba. Tierce de Picardie. Okay, let's see if I can do that again. I wish I could. Maybe I can remember this from memory. And this is just a scale. Okay, that's what I'll do. I'll remember that. That's easy to remember. It's easy to remember, and then I'll start reading from there. So I have this, and then I have this, and then I have that. Right, so okay, so I have chord 1 in first inversion, chord 5 minor in first inversion, and loads of passing notes. Now that F minor, that chord 1, has got a function as the whole phrase is going towards 5 minor, going towards C minor. Okay, C major, tierce de Picardie, is going towards C minor. So that F minor, especially there, functions as 4 of 5 minor. That F minor functions as 4 of C minor. So I'm gonna have here 4 of 5. Okay, let's continue. Okay, and this is just going towards C minor, but we have a tierce de Picardie, we have an E natural, and maybe that's why we've got the 3 flats in the key signature instead of 4. Maybe that's why. Do you see? Because we need a D natural here, we don't want a D flat. So maybe that's the reason behind the choice of such a key signature of 3 flats instead of 4, because we have 5 being tonicized here, or you know, we have that kind of region here. Okay, so what's happening here? Okay, this is chord 2 chromatic. This is 2 chromatic, 2 chromatic, with a 4/3 appoggiatura. It's a prepared appoggiatura because I had the C in the tenor for all the previous bar. So it's not technically a suspension because the suspension needs to be held. But it is an appoggiatura, but it is a prepared appoggiatura because I had the C as a chord tone in the previous bar and for quite an amount of time. So what do I have there? So that's 2 chromatic with a 4/3. That's nice. Okay. That's an upper auxiliary. That's an auxiliary note here. It's an upper auxiliary note. Touches briefly on the flat 9 on the minor 9 of the chord. It's only an auxiliary note. Then here I have the 7th. That's the 7th. The 7th happens right there. Oh, okay. And then I have 5, just 5. Okay, that's a tierce de Picardie. Now, I suppose I could just do 5 uppercase, and I'll be understood. I will be understood. Although that implies a dominant function. Okay, 5. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. See, maybe what I could do is this. Maybe what I could do is this, just to indicate that that third has been raised to make it a major chord. And it sounds like a tierce de Picardie because there is a minor being hinted at by the A flat. See, I'm expecting C minor. The A flat belongs to the minor mode. Also, I mean, in the previous bar I had C minor. Like, you see, I had C minor. And so that's what you're expecting, you see? So I'm just going to play the harmonies here. I have F minor, C minor, then I have this one. You're expecting C minor, and instead you have a C major. So that's a tierce de Picardie. Let me play that again. And then you have opens up. Okay, next phrase. Actually, before I do that, let me have a look at the regions quickly, because we were in the tonic again. Yeah, that was in the relative major, still in the tonic region, still in the tonic region here, going to F minor, then tonic region again. This is the relative major, tonic region. Let me circle those because it's really a lot of information here. Okay, so tonic region. There's a lot of scribbling. Tonic region. Okay. This is the subdominant region. Subdominant region. Back to the tonic region. Here we're going in the minor dominant region. You're going to C minor. Although it finishes on tierce de Picardie, but the region is minor, the dominant minor. Okay. Next. Tune first. harmonization. Okay. Let me play it again. Okay, we're going to the relative major again. Now, this is 1 chromatic, 7, D. The 7th is in the second quaver of that beat. In the bass, okay, there's an interesting moment of dissonance there. Right, so what is that? Ba-ba, that's... So I'm feeling the dissonance between the bass and the soprano, and somewhat also between the bass and the tenor, though not as sharp as that type of dissonance. Altogether, it's a dissonant moment, which then relaxes in the second quaver of that beat. The second quaver of the beat I have, again, it's called 1 chromatic, here, 1 chromatic, but now it's in second inversion with the C in the bass. So this is, that is an accented passing note. That is an, yeah, it's an appoggiatura, an accented passing note. Well, I have 2 passing notes here consecutively. One is the 7th of the chord, and another one is the is that D flat. It's that D flat. I could call that D flat an appoggiatura, because it is an appoggiatura. It's on the beat, but it's been approached by step from another note. Now that note has been approached from, it's not a chord tone. So can I call the D flat an appoggiatura? I could call the 2, I could call them 2 together a double passing note, could I? But I mean, what it does is obvious. What it does is obvious. It's a dissonance on the beat, and it's quite, you know, it's quite prominent. Now that bass keeps dropping. That's chord 4. That's chord 4. That second inversion chord, this chord 1 in second inversion, is left by step, as you expect a second inversion chord to behave, going by the rules. Okay, chord 4. Chord 4. Now, what happens then in the alto? What happens in the alto? There's a passing note. Does that passing note create a chord? It does, actually. On that second quaver of that beat, I have a G diminished. That's chord 2. That's chord 2. I'll put it here, chord 2, which functions as 7 of 3. 7 of 3. Now, and I have 3, in fact, here. So that chord 4, 2 of functions as 2 of 3. That chord 2 functions as 7 of 3, which itself functions as a dominant function. of 3, and then I have 3. Again, the alarm bells are ringing there because I have double third here in that chord. I have a C in the soprano. I have a C in the bass as well. So it's a prominent place for a double third, and everybody's tearing their hairs off because, oh my God, I have a double the third, Bach, double the thirds, ah! And anyway, again, we have contrary motion. Contrary motion there kind of redeems the loss. So he knows what he's doing, lads. Okay. So that's a passing note which creates a harmony. It creates a chord which has some function, which has a function. This is just a passing note. Okay. That D flat is just a passing note. Now, again, ta-da. Again, we have those. Okay, that's the fourth of the chord. That's chord 7. That's chord 7, which is 5 of 3 with a 4-3 appoggiatura, pre-paired appoggiatura, because you see that A flat has been sounded previously. That A flat has been sounded previously, so that's pre-paired appoggiatura and decorated as well, which is very nice. And that kind of decoration going somewhere by skip, and then in the opposite direction by step has been used a few times in this harmonization, this choral harmonization. In the alto, I think it was only in the alto. It was mostly or only in the alto. Yeah. So those are the things to notice, or at least I noticed them. Anyway, so that's a 4-3. So this again is a decorated appoggiatura, ta-da, ta-da, which goes ta-da, which is very nice, and something. That kind of decorations or similar type of movements happen quite a lot in the alto in this harmonization. Okay, then I have, so that's a 4-3 decorated. Then I have the 7th here. That's the 7th. That's the one. And this is a note of anticipation. Oops, I dropped my pen. That's a note of anticipation, and that's chord 3. So that's 2 of 3. This is 7, which is 5 of 3. 5 of 3, 5 with a 4-3, etc., etc., and then it goes to 3. Okay, last phrase. It's a bit long compared to the others. This is 4 bars, and I think the average length of the others was 2 bars. No, that's, well, that's, no, it's 4 bars there. Yeah, well, we had mostly 2 bars. Mostly 2 bars, yeah? And then only here, when it went to, no, it was 2 bars all the way. 2 bars, 2 bars, 2 bars, and then the last one is 4 bars. And I can see already quite a big sequence, melodically at least. So let's see what we got. Here we go. Does it fit? Yes, it fits. So, tune. Loads of repeated notes, all these pairs of notes. Okay, harmonization, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Okay. Then oh, there was a moment there. Here's the Picardy again. Good old Johann Sebastian Bach, referring back to the older masters who found ending on a minor chord kind of still unacceptable or dissonant, I think. Again, let me know. So let's reduce that a second. Okay, what happens there now? That's the moment now. That's something happened there. I'm talking about this moment here. I'm talking about this moment here. There's a moment of dissonance. Okay, so we're gonna find out what happens there. 6. That's an upper auxiliary, still 6. That's a passing 7, okay, just 6. 4. That's 4. And 4 in first inversion. Seven. Seven, 7 at that moment, D. I have and this is that's a C minor. So C minor is 5 minor. I mean, after that 7/7 you expect one B, but no, here we have so 7, the functioning root drops a third and we are on to 5 minor, which goes in first inversion here. So that's a harmonic sequence, a melodic sequence, it's a sequence. Now, let me see. There's a bit of harmony there. See, if you want, this could be chord 1, and on that second quaver, it could be chord 5 in first inversion with an inner pedal of F, if you want. You know, there's enough notes to define a chord. There's enough notes there to define a harmony, a chord, and it is functional because it goes back to, you know, from 1 to 5, it goes back to 1 right here. So created by those two lower auxiliaries, if you want. Now let's see, those are two passive notes. Yeah, those are just two, these are two passive notes, and that's fine. Here I have chord 1 in first inversion. Okay, I have the bones of F minor. This is an accented passive note. That's an accented passive note. That tenor crossing, it changes. It doesn't change the harmony. The harmony, okay, it doesn't change the harmony, because if so, he wanted F there in the as the lowest note. He wanted F as the lowest note. So to keep F minor. Okay, first of all, this is F minor in first inversion, and that's F minor in root position. So you wanted to go back to root position. I guess that bass maintaining that line was paramount. Maintaining that line was paramount, was important. The alternative maybe would have been a C, again the tenor here, that would have been the alternative, but that would have meant having chord 1 in first inversion for the whole half bar, and maybe that would have been felt as a stop to the harmonic rhythm, because there is a bit of a change of a harmonic rhythm. It feels like a bit of a chord change when the inversion changes. It is the same chord, but it is a different inversion, so it's a different sound. And I'm guessing, this is only me thinking again, I'm guessing that had it done that, it would have felt as a stop in the harmonic rhythm, whereas having first inversion root position feels like some type of a change, and it keeps the harmonic rhythm going. This is only me. I'm only guessing, thinking of the reason behind that. But anyway, this is a kind of, it's an interesting moment, because okay, this is an accented passive note, and then the same note, the same passive note, unaccented this time, is repeated an octave lower. So I have that between the alto and the tenor, which is in contrary motion. Okay, so I'm gonna call that chord 1. Chord 1. Oh, and look what happens. The double third in the bass is avoided just as well. You see? I have the third here, the third, just the quaver after in the alto. And then this is simply chord 5 and chord 1. I'm gonna call it with a raised third. Oh well, let me use the let me use this. There you go. As a tierce de Picardie. Okay. So, and this is back in the tonic region. Okay. That's what I make of it. And again, I just like This is great. This is great mental gymnastic. It's great for me. Wait a second now. This is the tonic region again, isn't it? Yeah, we've got there. This is also the tonic region. Going to the relative majors, the tonic region. This is great for me. It's good mental gymnastic. It shows the workings of harmony, of melody. It's just so enriching. And I hope it helps somebody. It certainly helps me. Not just to understand the music, but to make sense. Sometimes music to me is the only thing that makes sense in a world that goes insane as time goes by. So I hope it helps somebody else.